Hey, what is up? What is up, everybody? Long time no hear from me. I know you don't have to say it. Um, Nothing is wrong. Everything is fine. I just have not been interested in watching TV. I just haven't been interested in looking at anything. I haven't been interested in reviewing anything. I mean, even my normal YouTube videos, I haven't been interested in watching. I just been kind of hanging out with friends and going out of town here and there, living my life. But everything is pretty much good. I just think, sometimes we're watching a lot of the shows that I watch and that I review. It starts to have me thinking about other stuff that I have going on or stuff that I have had going on, and it doesn't bring me to the best place mentally in my life. So I'm just like, I don't want to do it right now. But I at least should have said something to y'all. You just don't disappear on people like that. So I do apologize for that. But everything is good. I'm good. I'm in a good mood. We're going to talk about the things that we're going to talk about. And yes, this is the Married at First Sight season 14 catch up review. This is a catch up. And then I'm going to catch up on Ready to Love as well. I actually recorded it yesterday, but I was inside of a truck and you could hear the truck in the background and it was very loud. So I decided to re-record it today. So sit back and relax. If you're at work, turn this on for your last hour. If you got some things to do, turn it on because I'm going to be talking for a long time. A long time. So just sit back, relax, and get comfortable because we about to be here. Okay, so how we're going to do this is we're going to go couple by couple. But remember, this is a catch up. So I'm going to be talking about things that have stood out to me the last, I think it's been 3 or 4 episodes that I have missed. And y'all do not know the strength that it took to watch back to back episodes of Married at First Sight, child. Especially with all those commercials they like to throw in. Honey, come get me off the floor. Okay, who do I want to talk about first? I'll just talk about who is in my notes first, which is Jasmina and Michael. So let's settle in for our first couple. I told y'all from jump that Jasmina is seeing issues in Michael that she has herself. It's the most interesting thing. It's like she lacks self awareness. But as the episodes continue to go on, I do see her starting to become more aware of herself. But occasionally she still does say things where I'm just like, girl, you do the same thing, but okay. But it was really weighing on me. The previous episodes, how she was speaking to him, the way that when they would have conversations, she would fully try to get out what she had to say, but then when he started talking, she would kind of cut him off a little bit. She seemed to almost be irritated by him. And then Jasmina speaks. Now, there's nothing she could do about this, but she speaks in very like clipped tones, and for some reason, voices like that kind of grate on my nerves. I can't do it because I'm country and just about nothing that I do is clipped. But if you know the sound, then you know the sound. So she really was making me upset because I felt like she was being extremely difficult. It made me wonder if in those relationships that she has had, which have all been long distance, had she possibly been so, I won't even say hurt, but maybe she had gone along with the flow too much to the point where she's now set up boundaries that are so strong that they're like emotional walls that nobody can get past. Like she says to herself, like, I'm not going with the flow no more. It's going to be my way, or well, not my way, but it's gonna be the way it needs to be, or it's not happening at all. That's the vibe that I was getting from her. Like, no, I've been going with the flow for too long. This is what I need. This is what we got to do. You can't talk to me like this. You can't look at me like this. You can't touch me like this. You can't go this way with me. I need to see this. That's kind of how I was starting to feel about her. Um, but once they did their vulnerability exercise where they could not see each other, I really think that helped them make a turning point. It was less bickering, it was less cutting each other off. Everybody was a lot more open. I saw more emotion out of her. I've been seeing emotion out of Michael, but I saw more emotion out of him. I saw him coming to more of an understanding of things when it came to her. She starts to realize how she's coming off, and so there's less tension in their relationship. Um, I like that. I like that. This episode, not this week, but last week that they had when he was teaching her how to drive, it was fun. It was lighthearted. I actually was laughing as I was watching it. They still are giving off homie vibes for sure. I'm hoping they could take it to the next point. It's funny because I was watching Mila B's stuff the other night, and she actually said what Pastor Cal said this week. Like, you gonna have to touch her, in so many words. Um, but I thought their anniversary dinner was really good. When she kept saying his hands was cold, I was like, girl, shut up. You'd appreciate this anniversary dinner that this man has done for you. But for the most part, the communication is better. And Jasmina has really improved when it comes to that. I'm going to be careful when I say this because I know how people are about their mamas. But it's something about Jasmina's mama that I'm not feeling. When she called her on the last episode and she was asking how the marriage was going, and Jasmina said things were good, things were better. I ain't saying her mama don't want the best for her, but she kind of looked disappointed. Like, have y'all ever met parents or family members that I'm not going to say they want you to be doing bad, but they kind of thrive off of tension or thrive off of there being some type of drama. So if you don't have no drama, they just kind of be like, oh, okay. I don't know. Her mama just sounded disappointed when she said that it was going well, but I could be reading too much into it. It's just something about her mom that I'm not feeling like that. But you can tell Jasmina still has a lot of reservations. So moving into this week, when they do meet with Pastor Cal, let me switch notes real quick, y'all. When they do meet with Pastor Cal, I just want to say, y'all, I was real proud of myself. Okay, I was patting myself on the back, thinking, maybe I did need to go into that counseling field. Y'all know originally I wanted to be a psychiatrist. I don't know if I've ever told y'all that. But maybe I needed to explore that a little bit more because I was saying the same stuff that Pastor Cal had been saying, as well as Dr. Mr. Pibb. So when they talk to Michael, I'll do Michael first. Michael talks about how he was doing certain things out of obligation to her as a wife, but now he's doing it because he really feels connected to her and he genuinely likes her. And Pastor Cal kind of makes that connection with him and later with Jasmina about how you're doing stuff at first because you feel like it's what a husband and a wife should do. You're putting the work in, and then the work leads to having a better connection, just like when Jasmina was kissing him at night. But okay, and that was the only little bit of intimacy they had, but then Michael told her she didn't have to do that because she was feeling obligated to. And Pastor Cal told him that was a dumb move on your part, which was funny, but Michael received it and he understood that what ended up working for him, he didn't really give Jasmina the opportunity to let it work for her, if that makes sense. Pastor Cal lets Michael know there needs to be more intimacy. You need to give some kind of touch. Why haven't you given the touch? And he believes that he doesn't want to give the touch yet because he doesn't feel like Jasmina is ready yet. She feels like she requires more trust. She needs more out of him, and he's trying to earn it and he's pulling back, but Pastor Cal was telling me you need to pull forward. Now, I done told y'all before, Michael wouldn't need to initiate no touch with me because I can't say that because even though I don't do well with men that got body, I do not do well with body, y'all. That's why I like my men, sometimes they need to be a little soft because I can get real lusty. But I'm not likely to make a first move. But I'm gonna tell you, it would have been on and popping in that pool when he had no shirt on. Y'all, I would have been trying to act real coy. I would just say that. I would have been trying to act real coy, like I didn't know how to do nothing. I would have needed rescuing that day just so he could push up on me. But apparently, maybe Jasmine is not giving any of those signs off, and I think Michael is waiting on a signal from her to make a move, but I think he should probably just go ahead and make it. It ain't gotta be nothing extreme, just a little something, a little bit. But let's try something. When we talk to Jasmina is feeling a little bit better about it. However, Jasmina is saying that Michael is one of those people where she feels like you really have to earn his trust versus her, who has always felt like she trusted people. And that's when I started getting aggravated with her. I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about with you. You see things in Michael that you do yourself. Because right before she made that comment, she said that she needs to know him more. She needs to experience more trust with him. She doesn't know his past, and she needs to know more about his past so she can know who he is today, because he's always mentioning his past. She needs to know more. She can't just be with a stranger. So just like trust has to be earned with him, it sounds like it's got to be earned with you too, Jasmina. Why are you acting like you just run around here trusting people? You don't. And you just said you didn't. But then you turn around and say, versus me, who's always just kind of trusted. You lying. You're lying. I don't know why you don't see the mirror that is being held up to you. That's where she starts to aggravate me. But she says that the intimacy will be there as long as they continue to do what they have been doing. Is she worried, though, that the intimacy won't come? But she's only worried if they don't continue doing the things they've been doing. So when they end up talking at the end, they really just kind of talking and like, oh, their questions played off of each other. I still didn't see any touching, but maybe they did it off camera. But that's the main thing with them. The connection is there, like communication wise. They kind of got that in the bag, actually. They could talk to each other very well. They both very calm, very clear, very understanding, patient now. So they got their communication part down. It's just all about seeing if they all have any physical intimacy. And like Pastor Cal said, ain't nothing wrong with lust in a marriage. But I mean, I got Jasmina's point too. Like the lust comes after, people who have lust in a marriage is because they've gotten to know each other, not necessarily, unless it's an arranged marriage, but not necessarily what these two are doing. But I think they're doing well, and they can initiate a little something. I'm not saying they got to have sex, but they can, a little cuddles. A little cuddles might be good. So are they just laying in the bed, on the edge of the bed, not touching each other? I wonder. Not me. Not on that body. It would be cuddles for sure. For sure. For sure. Okay. Michael would definitely have drool on his chest. Fooling with me. But that's it with the two of them. I think they're going to be okay, but it remains to be seen. What do you guys think? Do you believe it'll be a yes on decision day for Jasmina and Michael? I hope so. I do like them together. I just want them to get out that homie stage. Now, let's move on to our next couple. Ooh, child, this is... What do y'all want me... Lindsay and Mark. I don't know what to say about the two of them. I just can't. There's a lot of things that I don't like about either one of them. But then, okay, let me try to get into it. I don't think it's going to make sense, but I'm about to try. I can't even try. Okay. So, with Lindsay and Mark, let's start from the bowling alley, because that was one of the last episodes I left off with. Lizzie, I don't know if she was drunk or not, but she need to lay off that liquor for sure. And I can understand why she drinks, because if I had to be in her mind and in her body, I would drink as well. I would get on my own nerves. I would be a drinker as well. But she can't continue to speak the way that she does. When Lindsay gets upset, she tends to fly off the handle and she just says whatever. Very similar to somebody else on the show that we gonna get to, but maybe that's why they had conflict. But you can't do that. You can't speak to people that way. And the stuff that Lindsay was saying at that bowling alley, baby, that stuff you can't take back. I'm sorry, we would have had to. She wouldn't have been up in my apartment. I would have been back down to my fake mama house. I would not have been over there with her. She was talking about his sexual prowess and or lack thereof. Like, that would turn me off. That would make me not want to be there for you. That would make me not want to be around you. Like, what about when you was talking about my lack of sex drive at the bowling alley, though? What about that? But they moved past that, I guess. It's just not good, though. Whenever they are having a conversation, Lindsay, okay, this is my issue with Lindsay. I got issues with them both. My issue with Lindsay is that Lindsay is extreme. Everything is hot or cold. There's no middle ground with her. And when you're married, when you're in any relationship, really, you have to have some type of middle ground. She doesn't have one. She's either extremely cold or extremely hot. And she even said that to Dr. Mr. Pibb. She was just like, it's either on or off for me. Well, no, it's not on or off for you. There does have to be a middle ground. And I think that is where Mark is trying to land with her. But she's just not that. She feels like she's a loyal person. She's a giving person. She's a caring person. And I do believe that Lindsay is all of those things. She came in and she was helping Mark get his life together. And I think that means a lot to Mark. I think it means a lot to have somebody that can come in and really say, I'm about you. I'm here for you. This right here is a mess, but I'm still here for you because I F with you and I ride with you. And Lindsay is a rider for sure. The only problem is after she ride for you, she will never, ever, ever let you forget it. If at any point you don't like something she does, all she does is remind you of all the things she did for you and how you're not being there for her now just because you point out one of her flaws. Oh, he gonna point out your flaws, baby. Y'all got married at first sight. You need to be prepared for him to point things out about you that he doesn't necessarily like. So I don't really know. It's almost like she can't handle hearing anything about herself if it's not good things. If you don't say good things about her, then you're not on her side. You're not on her team. You're not loyal to her like she's loyal to you. You're not giving her what she needs. And she's going to have to come out of that because that's not how marriage works. Somebody's going to say things about you that you don't like. She's doing a lot. She's doing a lot. Now, Mark. If I were with Mark, would I get frustrated? Yes. Is he a nice guy? Yes. But he's a little too namby-pamby. He's a little too wishy-washy. When he gets in a state where he's finally fed up, he does express himself well and say what his issue is. But before he gets there, you're never really sure what is going on with Mark. I do believe he's a little too grown for a lot of the situations that he has found himself in currently. I don't want to come into a man's life and have to start playing cleanup. I really don't. I'm not going to lie to you. But that's something that Lindsay did because she felt like that's what you do as a wife, and it is. It actually is. When stuff get tough, you do got to come in there and help your man out. But it's just something about Mark that I don't want to call him weak, but he's definitely not dominant. He only speaks when he's completely fed up. And he needs to be able to speak up for himself more. It's not going to work with a woman like Lindsay to stay quiet. It's just really not going to work. Not saying that he's going to have to put her in her place or anything like that. But he is going to have to be a lot more vocal with her and stand his ground on it. Don't just walk away from her. And shoot, honestly, don't let it be okay for her to walk away. When she get mad and be walking out the door, be like, no, that's not how we solve issues, and you need to stop doing that. When I bring up something to you, don't walk out this door. And if you do, you let me know how you feel about me. And you also let me know that you can't handle the truth, and I don't have time for that. Let her know what you need. So when they do go talk to Dr. Mr. Pibb, okay, she lets them know similar things, and so does Pastor Cal. Pastor Cal understands that Lizzie is a lot. Her delivery is based on how she's feeling at the time, which is not okay. It's not okay. However, you need to make sure that she understands how she can treat you and vice versa. But I think Lindsay's made it clear. But Mark needs to make that clear to her. Also about making each other feel secure. They haven't really done that. So that's something that they both have to do as well. Also, Lindsay, quit browbeating that man that he regular. He just regular. He's a chicken fingers and fries type of dude. Let him be chicken fingers and fries. Don't keep asking him to try stuff. It's almost like she be like, I don't know, she be poking at him like, leave him alone, let him do what he want to do, and listen to him when he speaks to you. Don't just fly off the handle. Be better with your communication style. Like when Mark is trying to keep it positive, because he was trying to do that. Lindsay wants to take it to a negative place, and Dr. Mr. Pibb tells her that you need to make sure that you take it to a positive place. Don't take it to a negative place. Keep the conversation in a good place. Keep it in a positive place. Even when you're speaking to me, you're speaking negatively. She was telling her, don't forecast. Don't tell me what it's going to be. Live in the present moment. That's something I struggle with. I had to write that down for myself. I said, thank you, Dr. Mr. Pibb. I know her name is Dr. Pepper. I said, thank you for that. So I took those notes myself, and I also took the notes of, not being so negative when you come to people, because sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. I'm just expressing how I feel, but I don't realize that I'm talking about you in a negative way, and there's another way to take it. So I think Lindsay received that, and I hope Mark received it as well. But baby, when Pastor Cal asked Mark, are you scared of being like your father? It was like, oh, a revelation. He was not prepared for anybody to ask him that. He actually said nobody had ever asked him that. And it's true. I think he does see a lot of his mother in Lindsay, to which Pastor Cal says Lindsay is not your mother. This does not have to be your dynamic, and you are not your father. This is not how you have to behave. And I know that was very simple, but a lot of people kind of walk around and be like, well, my dad was like this, or my mom was like this, and this is how they handle conflict, and this is what they do. We don't have to be our parents. I don't care how long they was married. We don't have to solve conflict like them. We don't got to cook, clean, work, do our marriage like them. Yes, it may have worked for them, but what works for our marriage might be different. And something about hearing Pastor Cal say, you don't have to be your dad, and Lindsay is not your mom. It was just very inspiring for Mark to hear. I think it was a light bulb for him. I personally think Mark is checked out of this relationship. I do. I think he's just kind of going with it because Lindsay is the more dominant one. But I just don't think he's there. I think Lindsay likes him a lot more than he likes her. But I also think he's not exactly everything that Lindsay wants, but Lindsay is like, well, I can mold him and I can shape him into who I want him to be. And she's going to realize that she can't do that. She does have to give him room and let him be him, which is what Dr. Pepper, I said it right that time, ended up telling her and Pastor Cal ended up saying at the end, like, you got to give it some time. You got to give it some room. And I hope she's willing to do that. But if she's not, I do think Mark is checked out. Another thing, this ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but did y'all see how them cats was all over their furniture and all over their kitchen counters? This is why I don't eat at potlucks. I do not eat at, especially work ones, because I don't know what y'all got going on down to y'all house. I didn't see nobody get no Clorox wipe. He had his pads, his little paws on the counter. It was this lady at my job. I hope nobody ever listens to this. They used to work with me, but she used to make a certain thing every Christmas, and she would give me a bowl, and that bowl would go right in the trash because I knew she had a bunch of cats, and I didn't know where the cats were, but I know they were shedding, and I had a feeling they was on the counter. So, thank you, but no thank you. All right, y'all. I guess that's it. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Lindsay and Mark. And do you believe that it is going to be a yes on decision day between the two of them? Let me know what you think. Noy and Steve. This is the couple that initially I thought had the most promise. And I'm not saying that they don't. I still think there's a lot of promise there. I think that the two of them are going to be okay. I think they're going to end up saying yes on decision day. I think they like each other. I think they have a good connection. However, the finances and this social media thing, if anything is going to break them, it's going to be that. So, sorry, I thought I had my notes prepared. I do not. She's more traditional in her thinking when it comes to money, when it comes to a family layout. Steve is not. He's a little bit more free-spirited. That's pretty much sums up the last 3 episodes that they had. Their anniversary was good. The stuff that they plan for each other is good. Steve does the bulk of like the housework. He seems to be having a problem with that. I don't know why he's having a problem because, sir, you're not working. She is. Even if she works from home, or even if you feel like the household chores should be divided, no, not really, because you are not working. So you're there, you're at home, you can do a little bit more of the stuff. They had this real passive aggressive conversation about who's gonna do what with the bathrooms, and I don't know. I'm not saying that Noy doesn't need to do anything at all. I'm just saying I don't understand why Steve is talking like he feels like he's serving her when he's in more of the at-home position. So whatever, child. I don't know. But they're gonna have a little bit of issue in that. He's complaining about how she doesn't find value in his freedom, or how he's able to maybe commit to some other opportunities, but seems like you don't find value in what you're able to do at the home. So why you want her to find value? You want to find some value in some other stuff. But when they meet with Dr. Mr. Pibb and Pastor Cal, I think they did a good job of helping them sort some stuff out. No, you're going to have to get your behind off social media. I don't know what your problem is. I'm not about to sit here and try to analyze you and go back and forth. You're wrong. You're wrong. As soon as you believe you deserve better than you do or something like that, girl, if you think you deserve better, then leave. But don't post no cryptic messages. Nobody has time for that. Ain't you too grown for it? When I see grown people still posting like that on Facebook and social media, trying to take shots at their spouse or their boyfriend or girlfriend, I just be looking at it like, God deliver me from childishness. Nobody has time for it, Noy. And you need to stop and quit acting like you don't know what he's talking about. Like, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. No, we going to have to disagree. And you're going to stop doing it. And I'm not playing with you. But the experts let her know and let him know that there are certain things that people need to be secure. And as I've told y'all 100 times on these videos, you have to love people the way that they want to be loved, not the way that you feel they should be loved. You got to do it the way they want to do it. And so part of Noy's thing is the way she grew up with her finances and the things that she's been through with her family. Noy likes security. And security means money. Security means hard work. Security means showing improvement. I get Noy on a lot of those things. I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I have a lot of fear around money. I'm very fear-based around money, but I've gotten better at it over the years. But when I don't have money, I am not a good person. And I know I've shared with you guys, I broke up with somebody in the last year, and when I look back on that breakup, I do realize that a lot of my personality and the stuff that I was going through at the time was because I was not working, and I just I'm not my best person when I'm not financially secure. I'm very negative. I'm very dismal. Almost, you would think I was borderline depressed. I got too much time on my hands. I am not a good person when I am not productive and when I am not working. That's just who I am, right? And I figured it out. It's just too bad I had to figure it out in the midst of a relationship and it went awry. But that's what I know about myself now. Steve might not be that person. Idle time might be fine with him. He might be able to find way more productive things to do. He might not feel like less than. And I think that Noy doesn't really understand that because of who she is and how she came up. And I get it. I came up the same way. Like, you work hard, you got to work hard. Okay, Noy probably ain't never gonna retire. You work hard to do what you want. She comes from that kind of family. Steve comes from the opposite. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think they have to reach a level of understanding. And so Noy needs to feel secure. That's the main thing. So at the end, when Steve was talking about all these opportunities that he was listing off, he could have missed me. Honestly, first he said he could get a full-time job if that would make her feel secure. That's a plan he could go along with. Second thing is, what if there was another opportunity where I could make even more money and not have a traditional job? Okay, Steve, I'm fine with that. It's the money for me. Okay, it's the money for me. You can talk opportunities and scenarios all you want, but do you already got it laid out? And if you don't already have it laid out, sir, then what we talking about it for? That's the main thing, you guys. These children, these folk ain't 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, or 29. Okay, Steve and Noy are grown. They are real, true grown people. It just comes to a certain point in time where I don't want to hear about what you could potentially be doing. I need to know, do you already got this laid out? And if you don't, where the money coming from? That's all, and that's it. Now, I'm not about to sit here and play games with y'all and talk around it. Or you can show me, what you got saved up. I don't think they ever made it to that point. They ended up talking about also finances when it came to children. She does want a child by, I think, in a year's time. He was okay with that. Unless it happened off camera, did they resolve the financial issue, y'all? But we do know he's okay with getting a full-time job if that's something she needs. So at least we got that out the way. But I don't know. I don't know Steve and Noy, but I still think they're going to be okay, though. Because they, at the very least, they do seem to really like each other. And I think they'll both say yes on decision day. Now, y'all know I don't cuss on my reviews. And I'm going to try my best not to cuss today. But I'm not going to make any promises. There may be 2 cuss words. Prepare your hearts and minds for the 2 cuss words. Okay? So during my catch up, I think the most painful scenes to watch were the scenes between Lindsay and Mark and the scenes between Elijah Wan Isaac and Katina. Those were my worst. Like, I wanted to fast forward. I was cringing. Jasmina was a lot too, but these two couples in particular really took me there. I think that Elijah Wan Isaac needs to get him a football team so he can have somebody to talk to and give his life coaching directions and all of his wisdom and his guidance to. I think he needs somebody that he can feel bigger than. And perhaps a little league football or softball team, baseball, would be good for him. Because this other stuff he doing, it's not going to work, baby. It's not going to work. So, to play catch up, y'all know in one of the episodes in particular, honey, I had friends calling me about this episode, saying, have you watched Married at First Sight, girl? Did you see how Elijah Wan was talking to Katina? And I was like, I haven't watched it yet. So I watched it. Y'all, it made me like, it made my body nervous listening to him say some of the things that he was saying to her, saying that she had a lack of effort when it came to planning their event with their friends, and talking about her cooking skills, talking about her life skills, saying stuff like, oh, well, I've paid off all of my debt, and I've got a house. I had a house when I was such and such. I've got a house now, and you don't have that, but it's okay. It was very belittling. It was very condescending. It was very nitpicky. And Dr. Mr. Pim asked him, before you met Katina, did you eat? How did you eat? Did you cook your own food? Elijah Wan seems to think, and I'm not going to say seems, because maybe he has done this. He has prepared himself as a husband. He feels like he has gone to a husband boot camp and he has prepared himself. And he wants the person that he gets with to have prepared herself too. Actually, that's fair. I actually think that's fair. That actually makes sense to me. You want somebody that comes in the game like not perfect, but you like, I done worked on myself. I want you to work on yourself too, so we can make magic together. I actually get that. But there's a difference between, first of all, you came on Married at First Sight, so you can't expect everybody to be where you are. But there's a difference between wanting somebody to be something and encouraging them to get to that point, and looking at what the effort that somebody is putting in and belittling that effort. And that's what he's doing. I'm sure you're not everything. Even though you went to husband boot camp, you still might not be everything that she wants. But there's still a way to go about it. You guys are on Married at First Sight. If you wanted somebody that fit every standard that you had, then you should have just went out there and dated, and they'd just been kicking people to the curb until you met the one. And I'm going to tell you, even the one is going to have flaws. That's the truth of the matter. But when he was going on listing his list of accomplishments and all the stuff that he did, I was just thinking to myself, like, y'all, I ain't trying to flex. I am not trying to flex, but I am on a line of 40 some odd women. You guys know I pledged Delta. Most, if not, I would say over half of my line sisters had houses by the time we were 26. Houses. Full-blown houses. Not condos. No shade to a condo. Houses. All of them. Most of them. And even now, everybody got a house now. Some people on their second house. Some people done bought duplexes at this point. They doing their thing. And so when people be like, I got a house, I'll be like, it's never been a flex to me, because I knew so many women who had already done that. So it's just like, yeah, okay, yeah. So even when Elijah Wan said that, I was like, okay, good, you should. Like, I don't, but good for you, sir. Like, those are just things. Those are personal goals and accomplishments, and that's good for you. It doesn't mean that you're a good husband. It doesn't mean that you are ready to be a husband. And that's the problem that I have with a lot of people. They think just because they acquire things and they have this checklist and they look good on paper, that they're good people, or that they're good husbands, or they're good wives. Those things on paper don't necessarily make you a good person or a good wife. What matters is do you have the emotional stability? Are you able to communicate? How do you work together as a team? How are you as a business partner? Because marriage is a business contract, baby. Marriage is a business contract. How are you? How are you in times of distress? How do you behave when you're angry? What's your emotional intelligence? Where do you think it falls on the scale? There's so many things that we don't talk about, but we run around talking about, do you got this? Do you got your property? Do you got your house? Can you cook? Can you clean? Those are life skills. Those are, yes, things that are beneficial, Um, but to really make a marriage gel and work for the long term, you better have some of that stuff that folks are not mentioning, for sure. And if I was Katina, baby, I would have turned right around and been like, well, what about my expectations? What about what I would like out of you? Let me speak those things. But I got some issues with Katina, and I'm going to say them in a minute. But I would have turned right around and been like, okay, well, you can have this food from scratch, but let me explain something to you. My great-grandfather grew a whole garden. My great-grandmother could go outside and kill the chicken herself, pick the corn, the collard greens, the peas, whatever needed to be done so that she could cook it from scratch. So you going to get my garden going or not? You gonna get my garden going or no? Grow me a garden so I can cook all this food from scratch. I'm not trying to be running down to the HEB, the Publix, the Kroger. I want you to do it. That's what a man does. That's what I expect out of my husband. What you gonna do, Elijah Wan Isaac? Are you gonna go grow Katina a garden? Do you have any gardening skills? Can you maintain a farm? Can you milk a cow? Because I want my milk fresh when I cook. Can you do that? Well, okay then. That would be unfair for her to say that you were less of a man if you couldn't go out there and provide the structure so that she could cook the food from scratch like you wanted. Nobody's doing that to you. Just because you have a checklist of what she needs, do you think you could fulfill her checklist if she really started going there? But that's my issue with Katina. What I do agree with Elijah Wan Isaac on is that sometimes Katina doesn't show anything. She doesn't say anything. She kind of just goes along with his program. Now, it sounds like that's what the type of woman he wants, honestly. That sounds like the type of woman he wants. But Katina, I actually would like her to speak up more. I actually would like her to change. I believe she has her own mind. I believe she has her own opinions. I believe she has her own expectations. But for some reason, she is molding herself into the type of wife that she thinks that Elijah Wan Isaac wants. And it is going to be to her detriment if she continues to do that. Because in front of people, y'all see how he like to pretend like they ain't got no problems. Girl, he will have you somewhere falling down a flight of steps saying you failed. Okay, not that he pushed you, but saying you failed and telling everybody ain't nothing wrong with you. I was wondering when the old Ike was going to show up. Do you want that to be you? No. So go ahead and speak your piece now. That's one of the things that me and my friend were talking about yesterday. I was like, I've had to learn that I need to quit trying to make myself pliable to the man that I'm with or what I think he wants me to be, and just show myself from the gate. Good or bad or ugly, whether I got a little toot, whether I can cook real good to them or not, whether I'm a little stubborn, like just go ahead and show it, because the right person is going to say, you know what, this kind of gets on my nerves, but everything else you do, I love. And that's going to override, some of the more petty things, but don't hide yourself. And it might even be stuff they could help you work on. It might be certain, like, just character responses that you have that you just need help working on. But with Elijah Wan Isaac, I just think it's too far gone. Like, if he was a different type of man that communicated well and could listen and make adjustments, then yes, this would work. Like, she could probably show him there's a way to behave differently. I'm with you. I'm riding with you. He believes he's right all the time and he doesn't do anything wrong. When people are trying to explain to him that he's wrong, do y'all see that leg steady tapping? He can barely stay in his seat. He is so aggravated that somebody might be trying to call him out. So no, I just don't think it's going to change with him. And I think Katina is putting herself in a very dangerous position trying to go along with everything that he says like it's fine. The dating app thing, that blew up into a whole bunch of confusion. He brought it up in front of everybody. Again, embarrassing, condescending, belittling, trying to have a moment. Turns out Katina wasn't on the app. I get what he's saying. Like, all of that stuff should be deleted, and I agree. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I would clean up when I'm seeing somebody. But guess what? Everybody ain't me. But she wasn't on the app. She wasn't doing stuff on the app. And she looked so sad after they had that conversation. And I was just like, I don't know how she's continuing to do this. They do have some level of intimacy, which is good, even though they haven't consummated yet. She's waiting because she wants to be... she don't want to be just dick dizzy, which is a perfect analogy, where basically you think you really like somebody, but the lust has just taken over. And, by the time you realize that the lust has taken over, you don't like that person anymore. But like Pastor Cal said, lust in a marriage can be a good thing. But there are other things that they definitely do need to work on. So I don't disagree with that. let me go to, hold on, let me move to my notes that they talked to with Pastor Cal now that I've gotten into the catch up of it all. Um, where's my note? Sorry, y'all. Hold. Please hold. Okay. Um, Pastor Cal is trying to ask Katina if she's having doubts. She's talking around it, but I believe that she is. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I like Katina. I think she is cool. I think she's collected. I think that she's a very chill type of person. I love her personality. I wish I was more like it. I wish I was more like that. But she got to learn to speak up for herself and has to learn to state her opinion. I think she believes if she does it, she's either going to make Elijah Isaac angry or she's going to push him away. And if you do push him away just by giving your opinion on something, then guess what? You didn't need to be with him anyway. You didn't need to be with him anyway. You're supposed to stifle your opinion every single time. When Mr. Pibb talks to Elijah again, that foot was tapping. She's asking him how does he think everything is going, and he's like, I think things are going very well. My wife has really grown up in this process, and she's finally starting to see a lot of things that I need from her, and I'm starting to see like how she operates and how I need to talk to her and how I need to deal with her. And do I get emotional sometimes? And do I say things that I shouldn't say sometimes? Absolutely. Everything was absolutely. Even when he talked to whoever that man was that came to see him, I don't like the way that everybody covers Elijah with sometimes he gets angry, but he's not a bad dude. Sometimes he says the wrong thing, but he's not a bad dude. If you continue to hurt everybody's feelings when you speak to them every time you get angry, then I don't think you're that good of a person. Sorry. You need to learn how to communicate. At the very least, you're a bad communicator. Can we admit that? But you don't get to fly off the handle every time you get mad. That's not what a husband does. Haven't you been to husband boot camp? They didn't teach you that over there? That's not what you do. So when Mr. Pibb confronts him about what she probably saw via the recording, but what she's been hearing about his communication and how he tried to call things out and how he's been speaking to her and how he might perhaps be belittling to her. Oh, absolutely not. That is not what Elijah Isaac is doing. I don't know what you heard. Dr. Mr. Pibb. See, that's the thing. She's calling you out about something that she heard that you did, and you respond in the way that she heard you did it anyway. You were belittling and condescending to Dr. Mr. Pibb when you was trying to tell her that you didn't do it. I said, boy, this boy crazy. This boy is crazy. And the whole time I was looking at him, I couldn't help but think, I was wondering when the old Ike was going to show up. Because that is exactly how he was acting. I ain't fooling with it, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm just not fooling with Elijah Isaac. I don't see it changing. I really don't. So when they get to the volleyball game, which, Steve was, kicking ass and taking names, everybody should have just went home for the day. As a matter of fact, Noy was at home while Steve was out handling business on that volleyball court. He didn't even need her. He whooped up on everybody. Katina was trash, but she put forth her best effort, and I like her heart. But then when they get and they talk about their relationships, first of all, Mark is kind of standoffish when Lindsay is talking about the communication and how she knows that she needs to talk better. He doesn't really respond to her, which they do talk to Mark about that later. But the kicker was when Elijah thought he was going to be out there talking big smack, talking about Dr. Mr. Pibb and how 90% of what she said wasn't needed and how it wasn't no help to him and how she tried to confront him about some stuff that she heard when he had to put it in place. Don't go around speaking negatively about me and my wife, and me and my wife handle things different. My wife this, my wife that. I said he liked that word. He liked just being able to say he have a wife. Okay, it's just like, Katina, you ain't nothing but something to put up on the mantle. That is all you are to him. It's just another thing to check off the to-do list. But she didn't know what she was talking about. She was telling me what she heard. No, fool. This is a recorded show. She was telling you what she saw. She probably saw it, just like she's sitting in the back watching you talk about her unbeknownst to you. So when Dr. Mr. Pibb rolled up out that office, honey, it wasn't her no more. That was Dr. Sunkiss. Dr. Sunkiss came through there. Sunkiss pineapple at that. Black folk, y'all know how we feel about that Sunkiss pineapple and that Sunkiss orange. She sat right down and she was embodying all of that energy. Like what was said? What was it? What about it? And what about it? Yeah, I did confront you about what you said. I did confront you about what I heard. And I was asking you to communicate with me about the things that I was hearing about you. Then he's sitting there. I said, oh, mom's the word today, huh? You ain't got nothing to say. What was that? What was that you was talking when I was backstage, though? Hello? Can I speak to Elijah Wan, or can I speak to Isaac? What was that you was saying when I was in the back, though? Now he up there talking about, well, I'm glad she cleared it up. No, you ain't glad about nothing. You was looking a fool out there talking all that smack. And when Pastor Cal tried to lift Katina up and say, boy, do you hear me? This is the woman you need. This is a woman that likes resolution. This is a woman that goes straight to, not how can I argue with you, but how can I resolve it? This is a woman who wants to bring peace to your life. Ain't y'all always saying y'all want that woman to be his peace? Okay, be his peace. This is what they say. Be his peace. I cross that out and be like, no, just set that shit off. Be his peace, my behind. I don't gotta be nobody peace when you not being mine. When you out here showing you being my hell, but you want me to be your peace. And y'all, when Pastor Cal said that she was peaceful, this fool turn around and say, yes, and that's what I love about her. That's what I love about my wife. I'm not in love, but why? In a moment where Katina was being lifted up and was being complimented, he couldn't let her have it. Those are narcissistic traits. I'm not diagnosing him. I'm just saying he got a lot of traits. And then I'm going to just leave it at that. But if y'all like Elijah Wan Isaac and y'all want him to say yes on decision day, y'all let me know. I don't want it. I don't need it, and I don't want it. Let me know what you think. I think Katina going to end up saying yes, because she just like that. She just like that. She just going to go with the flow. It ain't getting you nowhere, baby. But I know this video is lengthy. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to get it up to you guys, and I will be catching up on Ready to Love so we can do that video tomorrow. Okay? See y'all for the next one. Bye.